Hey there, and welcome to the Confident Chemistry Teacher Podcast. I'm Kim, your go-to chemistry coach for engaging teaching strategies and simple solutions to the everyday challenges chemistry teachers face. Let's get this reaction started. Hey chemistry friends, thanks for listening to another episode of the Confident Chemistry Teacher Podcast. Today, I'm just going to give you 3 ways that I'm using AI to really help me in the classroom. The last one actually was really surprising. So first, you guys, when I say AI, I know that there's a lot of different AI programs out there. The one that I'm using right now and loving is ChatGPT. And so I actually do use it and pay the $20 a month. But as just a regular teacher, I don't think you need to pay that amount unless you are doing some serious work. But even if you are paying $20 a month, it might be worth it for you. I use it a lot to take my transcripts on here and write show notes for me. So I'm definitely using it in a business capacity, but as a teacher, it's definitely saved my butt a couple of times. So the first way that I'm using it that really helps is writing parent emails. And let me just preface this by saying I joke that I wanted to study chemistry because I'm a horrible speller. Not a bad writer, but a horrible speller. And in chemistry, we were able to abbreviate everything, or at least when I was young, I felt like that. So when I say that ChatGPT saves my life, it's kind of like a grammar checker. And especially if I'm sending an email home where a kid has just been annoying me for a week and I've been busy and I'm just finally sitting down to write that email, and you can just hear how much the kid is driving me crazy in the email, I will put it into ChatGPT and ask it to rewrite this parent email to sound more friendly, to sound more helpful, and of course to be more readable and have better grammar. So then the ChatGPT spits it out in a matter of seconds, and again, it's done all of those things, and then it really saves me from having to spend 15 more minutes sitting down to craft this perfect email to send off to the parent. I spend about 5 minutes writing the email. I give it to Chat. That's what I call my Chat GPT. I've named him Chat. I know that's very creative, sarcasm there. And anyways, Chat will spit out in about 30 seconds a quick and lovely email to the parents that makes me sound like I am a wonderful human being, even while their child is driving me crazy. Now, the second way that you can definitely use ChatGPT is I sometimes feel like a lot of the post-lab questions are all over the internet already. So you might want to try typing into chat what your lab is, what the purpose is for your lab, and what you really want kids to get to know out of that lab into chat. And then it will come up with some questions, and then of course it'll give you an answer key as well if you ask for that. And so it can just help come up with some new questions. I've also used this when maybe it's kind of like a cookie cutter lab, but I want to change the direction on how this is going. So I think I mentioned before how I use the ocean currents when I'm talking about density in the oceans. And so the idea is now most test generators aren't going to have a question about ocean currents on there, but Chat can help me come up with a question about density in ocean currents and even give me a multiple choice options that are going to be a lot faster than me just sitting down and thinking about these individual questions. And maybe I don't always like the questions that Chat comes up with. Don't be afraid to ask it, can you give me 5 more? Or can you tweak it to focus on this aspect? So I found that really helpful in really tailoring maybe some cookie cutter labs or activities to meet the needs of my students. And then the one that actually really surprised me and I found was the most helpful is, I think I've mentioned, guys, I switched schools. When I did that, I had to agree to teach some biology classes. And I'm just wrapping up my first week of teaching as I'm recording this episode. So I had my kids do a measurement lab. I got some resources from another teacher, and she must have amazing kids because there was no additional information in this measurement lab about how to use a meter stick, how to use a triple beam balance. There was no like preface like, hey, you should teach them before you do this activity. And it's been a long time, about 15 years since I've taught biology. And so, okay, the point of this, I'm sorry I'm rambling, is that the kids didn't know how to do anything. They didn't know how to use a ruler. They didn't know how to use a meter stick. They didn't know how to use a triple beam balance. They didn't know how to estimate how much water was in a flask, people, okay? So what happened is I started this activity one day and they were going to finish it the next day. I think I kind of mentioned I like to spread labs over 2 days just to make sure that we have enough time to do things. So what I did after that first day, after I was like, yo, these kids, they need some help, I went home and I asked Chat to help me write very simple half sheet instructions for how to use these. And so Chat did just that. He wrote me some really good directions for how to use a graduated cylinder, look for that meniscus. That was another one. How to use a digital balance, how to use a meter stick. Now, one of the things I definitely want to preface with ChatGPT is it is not perfect, okay? Like the triple beam balance one was like a little bit funky. Sometimes what ChatGPT gives you doesn't exactly match up with the way that you think it should be done. So again, you might need to go back and ask Chat to rewrite it, or even if Chat has given you the basis for it, you can go back and rewrite it. But again, I had him write, and sorry, I just call him for some reason. My Chat, which I realize is not a boy or a girl, but I just call him Chat and I call him a guy. And I really just, he really helped the next day. So I had these like little extra white cards that I told the kids, if you don't know how to do something, read the white card. Because the previous day, the kids were like, well, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. Learned helplessness is real, people. So then the second day I came in and I was like, ha, ha, ha. Okay, I didn't say ha, 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 but I was definitely thinking that as I told the kids, if you don't know how to do something at one of these lab stations, look, read the white card. Now, did all the kids read the white card? No. But did I definitely feel like I had provided some resources there and I was having to answer fewer questions the next day because I had put those out there? So let me just tell you guys that that really was like a lifesaver and made that second day of my lab go faster. So I'm going to definitely use Chat in the future to help map out some different like lab skills, some safety skills. So I just think that while at first I was really nervous about using Chat GPT because I was like, yo, I'm smart. I can do this on my own. Well, I put my smartness, which that doesn't sound very smart, but I put my ideas into Chat, and then usually, and again, I'm saying that because he's not 100% perfect, but he's able to like spit it out in a more concise format. So I hope that these 3 tips serve you well as you guys are going through your school year. If you guys have any ways that you're using ChatGPT or any other AI device, then I would love to hear it. So as always, everybody, keep experimenting, keep inspiring, and keep being more awesome in your classroom, and happy teaching.